let's talk about marriage boot camp.
For more training on building and attracting a blissful marriage, please visit www.lolaandola.com.
Right now, so we got a couple of clips that we will review. And then what I'll do is I'll play the video. Yeah, I got a couple of clips.
Oh.
Yeah. And we'll review it. I want to know what you think about it. We'll talk about what we think about what we review, what we remember about the episode. And then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Are you a little tired today?
I'm trying to keep it calm.
Yeah, I'm not projecting, baby. My voice is louder than yours. The what?
But this. Yeah.
What?
But they can hear me.
Excuse me.
All right. So let's see who's in the house. So Dilly, thank you, Dilly, for stopping by. We had Ruth, Abeka, we have Sean, Awole, we have Puri, Francesca, we have Jimmy. All right. So quite a few people dropped in and out, so that's fine. We're going to be hanging out and just talking about this topic of heart of attraction. Right. But first of all, let's review some of this. So let's play this first clip.
How many clips do you have?
I got 2 from one show and probably 5. They're short clips, like 16 seconds.
Good.
Are you okay?
Vado lost it. He put his hand on me. That's not like him.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart right now because the way you're taking it tells me that this happened in life.
Definitely fun. And let me just clarify this. Vado's never beat me.
All right, so let's talk about that real quickly. So that was a clip that we played. If you want to see the whole show, you can go to that. I already clipped the link on the screen. www.lolaandola.com/live, and you should see one of the videos says live at the very top. You click on it. All right. So let me play it one more time. I know your thoughts. Okay. There are 3 clips in one that I just put in there. So pay attention to. One of them is basically Tahiri
disclaiming and claiming. I'm even confused.
My question is she lying? The other clip is Dr. Ish saying, looks like you're lying or something like that. Let's play it again.
Are you okay?
Vado lost it. He put his hand on me. That's not like him.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart right now because the way you're taking it tells me that this happened in life.
Definitely fun. And let me just clarify this. Vado's never beat me.
He's never put his hands on her. So what? My question for you. So we're talking about Tahiri and Vado. These are the 2. I don't know if I should call them characters. Cast on the show.
And they're together.
And they're supposed to be together. A lot of people are claiming that they're not together as well. But at least that's what they present to the public, that they're together. And this issues happen in real life with a lot of people, so it doesn't matter if they're acting or not. So last week we reviewed a clip show that was released of him lunging at her and attempting to choke her.
He was choking her. Not attempting.
Okay, was choking her.
Hands was on the neck.
All right, so watch this moment right now, okay? This moment is very important, okay? So, right, was choking her, that's what you say?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, but now it looks like she's defending him.
It's natural.
As a lot of women do for their man, that they will try to protect that man.
Yes.
They'll try to protect him as far as it goes. But at some point, they're going to give up. That's just what happens. The second clip is her admitting that it's happened a few times. Now, what has happened a few times? Her being in a
chokehold.
In a choke. She mentioned her nose was broken once upon a time too.
Yeah, but she didn't say it was Vado that broke her nose.
Right. So is it her being in that kind of situation or in that situation with Vado? Because on the next clip over, she said,
in the
let me be clear. In the confessional. Vado has never put his hands on me.
Mm.
All right. So, what do you think?
Well, I think for me, I'm gonna go to the scene where he launched at her and started choking her. The look on Tyree's face was not a shocking look. It was more of a look like, oh, here you go, making a fool of us out in public. But looks like it has happened a few times. Okay, she didn't seem shocked. But other people felt shocked for her, at least the women. And when Dr. Ish asked her, looks like it has happened a few times. She admitted that it has happened a few times.
Right. What has happened a few times? So my question for you now is, what has happened?
The violence.
Is it violence or violence with Vado in particular?
They didn't clarify that, but
Okay,
violence had happened, and I will assume that Dr. Ish was talking about our relationship right now with Vado.
Oh,
That's what I would assume, but I might be wrong.
but she's denying that.
And I'm okay to. After the fact, she now came and denied that he has never done that. Now,
Right.
to me, that does not seem strange, because most women, when they're being beaten, kicked, they will give excuses that they fell on their face, or they broke their nose, they fell on the chair.
Why is that? Why is it that?
Because women.
because he asked her too, do you want us to call the cops? And you know, let me just make sure that this thing doesn't go back like that again. Sorry about that. So why is that?
I think it's very normal for a woman to want to protect what she got.
Because they asked her if she
especially-
wanted to press charge, and she said no.
They usually don't press charges. I mean, there's a consistency with women that are being battered, or let me say damaged women, because damaged women don't mean that they are the ones being beaten all the time. They also are in a relationship where they are being violent themselves.
Right.
They're
Which
both
is,
beating each other, which is the scenario of Vado and Tahiri.
So let's just clear that up right now, because a couple of people came on and said no, they were both wrong, blah blah blah.
And I agree that they are both wrong, but we have to learn to separate the issues. Now, when it comes to Vado, I keep calling that guy a weak guy because he allowed himself to be in a relationship where he's being thrown, like a woman is throwing stuff at you, she's beating you. You allowed her to do that to you. And
So let me-
the way you can stop that is not by putting hands on her,
Right.
it's by removing yourself from that situation. But I do understand that there are attachments that people get used to, and it's not easy to pick up and leave. But at some point, you have to remove yourself, or that relationship, you will end up, it's either you go to jail, someone's going to end up dead, and at the end of the day, it's just going to be horrible for everybody in the relationship.
Right. Or worse, you're teaching your kids that this kind of
worse,
behavior
is okay.
is okay. By the way, that's the worst, because now you have generational curse
Toxic
that's happening
relationships.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
The worst is not that you go to jail. You go to jail, you come back, you go to boot camp, you'll be fine. Worst case scenario in that situation is you leave that person, you get with another person. You now know how to behave as a man or a woman in a relationship. The worst is that you find a way to cover it up, and then you live in this toxic situation where you're now breeding generational curse.
And again, if you leave the relationship, what you have to do first is seek help and get yourself in a place where you don't allow someone to batter you,
Right.
or push you to a place where you have to batter them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go seek some help, what's going to happen? You're going to take that same behavior, take it into another relationship, and then you're going to keep being toxic.
Yes. And I have one more clip to play with regards to that. Foxamillion said the fact that it was done on TV, there is nothing Vado can say to prove it never happened before.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus it's irrelevant if it's happened before or not. In the grand scheme of things, it's actually irrelevant if it's happened before or not. It just happened. That means you have the capability of being violent with a woman, right? If you find yourself, and it doesn't have to be about right or wrong, or it's your fault, or she caused it or not. Your reactions is always
All that matters.
it's an action that you're responsible for. So that's that. So good point there. And says also she should have never hit him in the face with the apples. You're not wrong at all. But again, life is very complex by itself. So if you don't separate issues, they're just gonna have an argument.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna end up in an argument with another person that says, no, but it doesn't make it right. And then the other person still knows, but it makes it right. She caused it. You get into this cause and effect thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just never ends. That's why a lot of people find themselves, in spite of being good people, they find themselves in situations that are extremely toxic. Because they are busy trying to fight for right, who's wrong, who caused it, who started it. That whole idea of started it thing, like, it's not really relevant in relationships and marriage. You have to take responsibility for your actions as fast as you can detect that I was also responsible. So now in this case, the last in that series, in that sequence is Vado. He has to take full responsibility for his conduct.
No, he has to, absolutely.
And it's very hard to do. And I'm acknowledging that it's very hard to take responsibility because, as a person, he's remembering, like, you just threw apples at me.
No, he felt disrespected. He felt treated like a punk.
Right.
He lost it. And look, I understand all that. But at the same time, I'm sure that's not the first time Tahiri did that. You've allowed yourself to be disrespected by this human being.
Right.
You stayed here, she's gonna keep doing it. She's not gonna stop until you remove yourself. So you being in love with this toxic person makes it like, okay, who are you? Do you even value yourself?
Yeah. So now we're getting into self-value. Like, you don't put yourself in harm's way, emotionally and physically.
Right.
If you value yourself, all of that is just a sign of a bunch of low self-worth. On both parts. It's not a matter of right and wrong. When you don't know what you would do if you find yourself in a situation where you're being tampered with emotionally. You just don't know, okay? And you don't know until you're in it.
Yep.
So it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of, like, you know what? I want to have healthy relationships in my life. And the fact that it comes to a place where we have to assault each other, it's just not good, okay? So we're not going to go back and say, oh, Vado was wrong. No, we're doing that. We did react that way because that's physical violence and people can die like that fast. So no, we can't take that for granted. And it starts from emotional abuse because, again, you don't know, because all of it is triggered emotionally first before people start acting out of character.
Yeah, and I also feel like I wasn't surprised because I saw it coming, not that way, but I knew something was going to blow up.
Right.
The minute they kept talking about the exes, I'm like, okay, you stay in the moment and stop living in the past,
Yeah.
So
some of the issues that he was so much concerned about was basically signals that he was still a young adult, kind of. I don't want to call him a boy.
Like
I'm being respectful to him, but he was acting like a boy. He was basically a boy that was in a grown man's business, and it just never, like, it won't end up well. And it's not a matter of age. You could be 50, 60, and you're still acting like a
child.
boy.
Yeah.
Right. So let's play this last clip to see if it's learned anything.
I've been chilling.
So she was asking
chilling. Yeah. I mean, listen,
did you really just say that?
No, she wasn't asking for nothing. That was just
because that's what you're saying.
No, that was just fed up and not thinking right.
I'm sorry I have to have this conversation with you, but
So I'm not sure if you heard that part. It said, I was just chilling. It said, so she was asking for it. And he said, yeah, like, wait, did you just say that? So again, this is about the cause and effect thing, right? Who caused it? Who started it? Yeah. You have to take responsibility for your actions, even if it was a reaction to other people. We're adults. We're supposed to be, at least, right? So let's play that again one more time.
I've been chilling.
So she was asking
chilling. Yeah. I mean, listen,
did you really just say that?
No, she wasn't asking for nothing.
Wait, he gave him the bait and he ran with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Let me read this person. Cake says, guys, no matter what you're going through, you should trust yourself and don't trust what you're going through, I guess, or doing through. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is it's very hard to suddenly he just try to choke a woman, or in the words of my wife, choke a woman.
Wow, that's what it looked
right?
like to me. I don't know why we're saying that.
In that, if he just did that like a moment ago, it's very hard for him to suddenly realize that that was wrong, especially when he's still feeling like she got me in this position.
Yes.
She made me get in this position.
Yes.
And most men don't even say that, you know, from my experience. At least men, maybe boys say that because it's a boy, right? A lot of women do say that. You made me do it. Remember we were talking about that yesterday? You made me do it. Like, it's very hard to be in a position to not see how a person made you do what you did. It's very hard to be in a position where you say, you know what? I played a part in that.
Yes.
It's not the easiest thing to do, especially consistently, you know. So we're just gonna let him pass. He needs to get help.
He needs to seek help.
Because whatever is triggering that makes a part of his brain feels like it's okay to lunge at a woman and choke a woman, and then think, oh yeah, she asked for it. No, nobody ever asked for that. They were also in a place of weakness when she was acting out and throwing apples and all those kind of things. She was also in a place of weakness because she obviously found herself in a relationship that
and
was
you
toxic.
shouldn't never let anyone throw apples at you. I'm sorry. To me, it could have even walked off that set. Like, you threw apples at me, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not taking this nonsense from
you.
But he didn't. He stood there and he kept building up.
If it's a marriage, a relationship, doesn't matter. If a person got violent with you, doesn't matter if a woman or a man. You'd be like, how dare you? You know? And you don't have to say that out in words. That's how you should feel, at least. That, wow, I brought myself into the wrong scenario or like context. Like, how did I get myself into this kind of mess?
But you could
that
tell
should be where your mind
that's a
should
norm
be.
for them. You could tell when people already, this is just what they do.
Right.
This is not the first time she's throwing. I can tell you right now. It might not be apples. Maybe it's oranges or pears, or even worse, maybe
it could be a hit on the side of the head.
It's not the first time.
Don't tolerate that. And the way you don't tolerate that is not by beating the person back up. It's to remove that. I gotta remove myself. I'm going back. I'm going to the hotel. I'm gonna go sleep over my friends. You gotta figure that out. I will not tolerate that. We can't afford toxic relationship, much less physical violence of any measures. Like, it could be just a little push. No, stop. Like, let's not encourage that. We're emotionally charged. The last thing we should be doing is touching each other physically. Anything can go wrong, right?
And you know, people will come with excuses like, oh, because of my kids I stayed. No, you can't do that. You're not doing that child any favor. You're actually damaging them more. You need to get out of that relationship, or at least separate yourself for now.
Separation is what we're talking about, not necessarily getting out of
maybe not get
a
out
full-blown relationship and marriage. Because
yeah.
for one, it's not that easy to get out of a marriage. Right? For one, it's just not. Right?
Well, the paperwork is absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly. But physically speaking, you need to remove yourself until further notice, sort it out, separation. We're going to be talking about attraction today. We have a lot to say about attraction. That's all part of it. They've gotten to a place where they're taking you for granted. So the first thing is separation of some sort, at least starting with the physical. Let that person process what just happened and let them process the fact that, wow, you respect yourself so much, because if you now get violent with that person, you still don't respect yourself because again, you're creating more of what you should be avoiding, basically. So that's that.
For more training on building and attracting a blissful marriage, please visit www.lolaandola.com.